Okay, let's go ahead and talk about a couple of different ways that we might take a table that we get from SPSS and make it APA style. And I'm thinking about some of the examples in the APA manual. Look at page 130 for a fairly simple but beautiful APA style table with means and standard deviations. I'm showing you my desktop, and I'm going to open this data set right here. These are students who were given a couple of three different reinforcements. Let me show you the variable view. They were either given a token, money, or food, and then they were even given those on a random schedule or on a space schedule. So they could kind of count on when it was coming. In terms of the space schedule, they had no idea when they'd receive a reinforcement in the random schedule. And they were tested. They were given an arithmetic problem-solving test, and in their learning process, depending on which of these groups they were in, they had different ways of being rewarded for learning some of the concepts that were given on that test. And so I just want to get a sense of the means of the tests for my students here. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to click on OK. And in SPSS, look at that. Here is my table. And it's already APA style. This is an APA style table. Well, how did I get there? How did I get that? Let me backtrack here for a minute and show you. Let's see here. I want to show you a table that's not APA style. So let's look at this. Here is some output from SPSS. Okay, so here's some of my code, and here's a table right here. Okay, I'm going to take this whole table, and I'm going to copy it and paste it as if I had copied it from my output in SPSS. So let me get here a new blank document, and I'm going to paste this. Now this is exactly what you would get from SPSS if your tables weren't already in APA style. You could, and this might be the easier thing to do, you could copy and paste it into Word just like I've done. And then click somewhere here in the table. And what will happen is this table tools will come up. If you go under the design, you can click on this. For example, this is my favorite template because it doesn't have any vertical lines. And so this is a start to creating an APA style table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I've highlighted the entire table. I'm going to come in under shading and say I want no color. And when I click out here, all of the color's gone. The vertical lines are gone. I do feel like I need a vertical line or a horizontal line here under this title. And so I can come in and just put in a border there. I also want a border down here under my last column or my last row, and I'll put a border in right there. I still need to make some changes. For example, this needs to be left justified, so I'll come over here and put it on the left. It shouldn't be bold. It should be in italics. And so you can see me just working on this. This needs to be a note. And the word note needs to be in italics. So I'll click on this so it's italicized, and then here I'll put a period, and I'll try to bring this back into my note. As you can see, there's some work that needs to be done in order to change this table to being just a beautiful work of art in APA style. Here I'm going to put a border here under this also. This needs a little border underneath. Actually, I think that I don't want my 95% confidence interval, so I'm going to delete these cells. I'm going to delete the entire column. There we go. Oh boy, I lost my title too. Anyway, you can play with this by just clicking on different things, getting into the shading and the borders and doing all sorts of things until you have an APA style table that presents exactly the information you want. That's method 1. Okay, method 2 is I can actually just tell SPSS to make my tables APA style. And this is what I've done, and this is why this table is APA style. It takes quite a bit of work, but you can save it for the future, and you'll be able to then from now on, anytime you get into SPSS, like I just did, come up with an APA style table rather than kind of the ugly old style. In fact, here we go. Oh, nope. All of my tables have now been changed. Look how pretty they are. Okay. What I need to do, though, is you double-click on a table. So let's do this one up here so you can see a little better. Actually, I'm going to right-click on this table. And once I right-click on the table, I should be able to select Edit Content right here in Viewer. Okay, so I've right-clicked and now I'm going to edit the content in Viewer. If you're on a Mac, you may have to experiment with this just a little bit because I know your right-click is different than mine. Now when I've got this black bar at the top, I know I'm in the Viewer. I know I can do some work to edit this table. I'm going to right-click on the table again, and I'm going to choose Table Looks right here. Okay, once I'm into Table Looks, I'm going to pick this Compact Academic. And then I'm going to come over here to Table Look Files. I'm going to look at the Table Properties screen. So if I click on OK for Compact Academic, oh, shoot, I apologize, it went away. I need to come back here to Table Properties. Okay, so here's my Table Properties screen. And now here, I'm going to start with cell formats. I'm going to tell SPSS that I want my data to be Times New Roman. And I would recommend a 10 font. And you can read the APA book for suggestions. I won't be a hard grader on this because the truth is different journals will ask for different fonts. But the APA manual does say to try to stick within about 2 points of the font in which your paper is written, which would be a 12 font. So here a 10 font seems to make sense. I've changed my data to a 10 font. I want to get in and change my title to a Times New Roman 10 font. This is a little bit of a pain. You've got to get in and change the title, then come down here. We want to change my row labels to a 10 and to Times New Roman. You can see in that little box to the right of me as I'm changing these things. Sorry, I'm getting a new look in my table. I need to do columns. You'll notice that you also need to do corners because those 4 A's right there, those are considered a corner. See these 4 A's right here? And they also need to be Times New Roman. Okay. Now, I've got to do a few more things, and what you'll have to do is just spend some time in here because you want to have this table looking exactly the way you want your future tables to look. Okay, so here in my table title right here, I want left alignment. Okay, it should not be bold. In fact, it should be in italics. So I'm going to undo the bold and check the italics. And there are more things that you can do. Oh, in fact, my data should not be bold. It looks like it's bold. I'm going to take bold off there. You can continue to look at your table and get a sense by going through some of these different aspects and making sure that they're APA style. Just keep that book open. Keep it open to page 130 and just look at their example and then continue to change your table until it's okay. But before I click on OK down here, I need to change the borders. And this is one of the first thing that screams APA style. There are no horizontal lines. And so what we need to do here in these borders is we need to highlight the top inner frame, and then press down your Control key and hit the bottom inner frame, and then press down your Control key again and click Data Area Top. Okay, these three areas are going to have horizontal lines. So I'm going to choose the second one from the bottom. That's the correct line, just a regular line, not bolded. I'm going to click OK. And I should have, and I do have, a very nice APA style table here with the three horizontal lines. It's got the output from SPSS. Let's just test, oh, excuse me, I'm not ready to test it yet. What I've done is I've changed this to APA style. But what I need to do is I need to go back into this table and come into the this table. Let me make sure I get this right. Okay, edit. In my table, oh, excuse me, let me open the table properties. Oh, and let me go back right here. I need to make sure that I save this. I'm going to save it as a format that I can use in the future. Okay? So under Table Looks, and I'm in Table Properties, I'm going to cancel that here. Under Table Looks, there we go. I am going to click on Save As. And I'm going to save it somewhere that I can find it easily. I'm going to call it APA Format. And for me, it's easiest to save it on my desktop. So I'm going to save it right here. And I'm going to click OK. Now I've got that format saved. Now I can do this next step, which makes all the work you've put into this available to you forever. I'm going to come into Edit. And once I'm in Edit, I'm going to come all the way down to Options. Let's see here. I need to find SPS data window. Maybe I need to be in my data window here, so excuse me. Let me get back to my data. Okay, here I am. Here's my data. Let me try Edit one more time. So I fell into a little trap there. Usually the output menu is exactly the same as this data view menu, but not in this case. You've got to be looking at your data. Come down to Options, and then in the Options tab, we are going to choose Pivot Tables. Okay, we're in the Pivot Tables already. Right here, the Pivot Tables tab is clicked. We're going to click on Browse. I'm going to choose the APA format that I just saved. I double-clicked on it. You can click on it one time, and then you can click on Open. Okay, so I've got that open. And now I am going to hit, let's see, in the Options window, I'm going to go back and click on Apply. And then I can click on OK. So let's find the Apply right here, Apply. And now I can click on OK. Whew. All right, now all I'm going to do is just test this out. I am going to make a new, I'm going to do an Explore table. I want these scores this time, but I want them separated by the type of reinforcement and by the schedule. Okay, and I'm just going to ask for both statistics and plots. Let's do OK. Look at my tables here, and this, oh dear, please don't ever put this in a paper. Your reader may keel over. This is way too much information, but it is pretty beautiful. It is APA style. I've got my title in italics over here to the left. I've got horizontal lines and no vertical lines. And so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take a table like this or this. I can copy and paste them into Word, and then I would recommend, of course, getting rid of some of the information that's really not necessary. Now, what about my graph like this? It's already APA style. You're just fine copying and pasting that out. But when it comes to tables, that's where we need the help. That's where we need this neat tool that changes the tables SPSS gives us. Of course, this is a lot of work, and you're very welcome to just copy and paste into your paper and play with it once it's there. But you do need to change the output from SPSS when it comes to tables. Thanks for joining me today, and have fun with SPSS.